Welcome to another edition of Day 4 with the man Frank Scalish. Day 4, number 221.
221. Man, I'm writing that down. I'm writing that down.
Well, that would make November 13th, the Deuces Wild show.
Yeah. Holy smokes, dude.
We'll have to think of something unique to do for the Deuces Wild show.
We will. 222.
This is 221, though. Like I said, recorded show today. It's actually been a little bit over a week since we've had a show. Last live show would have been October 20th. And I know that because in between October 20th and November 6th, usually I say currently, I am hoping that I have a limit.
Yeah, usually... I don't say currently what you're hoping for right now.
Currently, I am hoping that I have had my limit.
Yeah.
I'm in Jamaica.
Outstanding, dude. You're gonna have a little umbrella drink for me.
Hopefully, more than just one, and it's not little.
Yeah, no kidding.
But no, cool. Honeymoon in Jamaica. So the wedding, everything will be, and then it is back to regularly scheduled programming for the foreseeable future. The crappie season is kicking off. Back to Day 4s, back to the monthly drops for the Frank Scalish signature colors. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. As of this show going live at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, live on lurenet.com. The second drop out of Frank's. You're dropping 12, or how many are you dropping?
We're
out of 12, if you want to collect them all. I'm assuming by now that the pumpkin spice is sold out. But the second one drops today. Just get right into it right now, Frank, because this is a really cool one.
Yeah. So originally I did this color not for a signature series. Because I wanted it to fish with. When I design colors, there's a few things I take into consideration. Okay. One is, do I want to design a color that's just crazy? Or do I want to create a color for a specific need? And this color that's dropping today, I created for a specific need because I wanted a very natural, very subdued crayfish pattern. A lot of times, especially during the molt, crayfish become semi-translucent. They're lighter in tone. As their shell starts to harden, it gets darker. And as they age, then they get little bit of moss grows on their shell. Their colors start to change. And then, of course, they molt again, and then it starts all over again. So I wanted this soft craw kind of appearance to it. So without any further ado, this is in the Norman Speed N. The color
which is a bait you also designed.
Yeah, I designed this bait, and to be honest with you, I've been catching a lot of fish on it. It was designed for cold water application in the spring. I annihilate them on it during the spring. But I have been fishing it also in the warm months, burning it over vegetation that doesn't grow to the surface, and fishing it on gradual slope rocky banks, and have been doing real well with it, which is why I wanted this color. So I designed this color I call soft craw, and it's very subtle. You'll see the subtle orangish tint to it on the side. You'll see the marbling on the back, which is actually, it's almost like a dirty, mossy green color. It's not really green, but it has a green hue to it. I wanted this crayfish to be as natural looking as I could possibly make it. And so that's why I came up with this color. I really, really love fishing this color, like after the spawn, during the spawn. I like fishing this color early in the fall before the lakes turn over. And then again, right after the lakes turn over and the bass go back to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're more predicated on bait fish that time of year, you have a lot of crayfish movement that time of year, which I learned, believe it or not, from steelhead fishing. In November, I was shocked at the amount of crayfish I saw on the flat slate in the river system steelhead fishing. I thought it was abnormal and then found out it was a normality that these crayfish do this movement late in the fall in numbers. And so that's why I designed this bait. I'm really happy to have this bait come out. Like I said, originally I wanted it in the line because I wanted this thing to be available all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a signature series now. So I'll be very honest with you. When this breaks, I am buying a pile of them because I want this to fish with. But this is the signature series. It drops today. Soft craw, Norman speed end. I mean, this bait is so subtle.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Capital BTL 25, 15% off regularly priced items at lurenet.com. Now, I want to go down a little bit of a wormhole here, Frank, unbeknownst to you. So
it's always unbeknownst to me, Matt.
Sometimes I let you in on it. All right.
Sometimes
so this is the Norman speed end here, and almost won the classic at Gunnersville a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Really good cold water bait. I caught him actually right when it came out. You sent me a bunch, and I caught him really good at Cherokee in a Bassmaster Open on it. But I did notice we've talked about the evus and the chartreuses and all that, but these are the three variations of craw. You have is that the chili bowl?
Yeah, chili bowl.
What's that one?
That's like a brownish orange craw.
Yep. And then
that's what do I call that one? Click on the choose option menu.
That's where I'm at. You can't see it. That's like one of the weird. Ghost pepper.
Yeah, ghost pepper.
All right. So I'm going to show you those three. Those are the ones. Now hold up your signature series limited edition, and I'll make 300. Is it 300?
Yes. 600.
600. And when they're gone, they're gone. So I did notice, because you did show this on the 20th, the show, you flashed up a brief view of it, and it's got an orange or a greenish hue a little bit to that.
Yes.
And you didn't go into it, but one of the things that I thought was interesting that you mentioned was that you like to throw this a little bit either earlier or later, depending on when you're throwing it, but not when that water is ice cold, when it's frigid. You seem, based on what I've heard from the day fours, you like the chili bowls, the ghost peppers, the brighter oranges, the colder the water gets. But this is kind of the first craw that you've talked about that you like to throw always in the warmer water.
Yeah. So back in the old days, they had a color out. Rebel Deep We Are. Back in the old days, they had a color out. It was, I don't know the name of it, but it was the number 035. It was brown and bone and orange. Very, very nothing to the color. It had a brown back. It had a brown coach dog pattern on the sides, and it had an orange belly. I caught so many bass on that bait, and it kind of became, I kind of got out of the way. All these new cool colors came into play. That kind of went to the wayside. Now I have 6 of them, originals that I have. 3 I fish with, 3 I don't touch. But I needed a color that was so natural looking that I could throw it as the water temperature starts to gravitate away from the reds and the hot orange colors, which is usually right around that 58 to 60 degree mark. That's when I start to go to the natural stuff into my bait fish patterns. And so I wanted a color for that. I also wanted a color for that, like fishing in the Ohio River, some of your river systems like Mississippi, where they feed on crayfish year round. You have to have natural patterns. The Susquehanna, for example, like, of course, if you don't have a jet boat, you're not fishing the Susk, but the Susquehanna, for example, the bass in these bodies of water feed on crayfish year round. So you have to understand the color changes and what kind of crayfish are in these bodies of water. So I wanted a very natural pattern. Like I said, I wanted this to be available forever, but it won't be. And that's a bummer for me. But, you know,
It's interesting though that you said that you kind of use it as a transition color.
100%.
So I simply Googled what makes crayfish green because I hadn't seen a green one. And this is interesting. It says the green color of crayfish is primarily due to the presence of vitamin A in their diet, which is more abundant in warmer water temperatures. As the temperature warms up to 70 to 80 degrees, crayfish consume a rich diet of plant cells, which are high in vitamin A. This increases vitamin A, causing them to turn orange and red, transitioning to dark red at the peak of the summer. In contrast, crayfish in cooler water temperatures may appear green or brown due to their diet and environmental factors. So literally that is like a like you mentioned, you use the term molting, use the term changing, use the term that transition. That is the perfect transition color of crawfish that I don't think is utilized very often.
It's not, but I'm going to tell you something that is totally not related to a crankbait that I realized years and years ago. And I found out about it by accident in my aquarium. So what I found out was crayfish will eat certain vegetation and certain bugs and stuff that go on the vegetation. In my aquarium, I had wild discus, and so I needed live plants in it. And so I had the live plants in it. I had small crayfish in it, and all the time I would see the crayfish up underneath the vegetation, eating on the vegetation. When I would go punching, okay, I realized that a lot of times when you punch through the mat, before I let the bait go all the way to the bottom, I hold it up underneath the mat, and a lot of my bites come as the soft plastic is underneath the mat, touching the top of the mat. That's because the bass are eating the crayfish, feeding upside down on that vegetation. That's why when I'm flipping like Bama Magic Cross Swirl, green pumpkin blue, when I'm punching, that's why I'm using those colors a lot, because those crayfish have a greenish brown hue to them, and that's why I did this color. Now you'll see it. It's not really green, like it's not grass green, but if you could see, you see how
I would call it a transitional green.
Yeah, so you could see it right in here on the marbling.
It's a green pumpkin, olive-ish. It's not, like I said, it's not green.
Right. And so that's why I designed this thing. But but it's 100% accurate. As they feed on different things, they take on slightly different colors.
Here's another article. It says, in general, crawfish are green pumpkin in the spring, then gradually turn to orange and red as the water temperatures warm up. Then the fall, they become dark brown, transitioning to green, and then a darker, blacker color in the dead of winter.
Yeah, which is wild.
Deep, dark red.
Like we have a crayfish here. It's black and blue. It's literally black and blue. And I was testing lures. There's a pond close to me, and when I was making the speed end, I was out testing them to make sure I get them to run right. And I also did a bait for myself where I modified a Cordell Big O. I wanted to see if I could change the bill design on it and get it to do something different. So I went out there to check it out, and my first cast with it, I caught a 2.5-pound largemouth. Unbeknownst to me, it's a city lake, and I didn't think that it had anything worthwhile in it. So I caught the fish, I let it go, tuned up the baits, got them running right, and I was walking around the lake, and I saw a crayfish that was black and blue, and it was blue. like, I mean, vibrant
sapphire blue.
Yeah, like sapphire blue. And I was trying to get it to bite on. I reeled the crankbait up to the tip of my rod and I was messing with it to get him to bite onto it because I wanted him out of the water to see, but it would never play. It just, scurried away. And so paying attention to what you see in the water makes a big deal, because when you design baits and colors, whether it's a hard bait or a soft plastic bait, if you want to mimic what you're seeing, you have to see it in the water, but you have to see it out of the water as well. And so I was trying to get this thing out so I could get pictures of it so I could copy it exactly. A lot of the crayfish patterns that I make, I go catch them. There's a couple small rivers by my house. I'll go catch them, like the common craw, the rusty crayfish. I go catch them. The ones that I did in red that mimic the Louisiana crayfish, which is red and black or red and super dark brown, almost a squid ink type sepia color. Those I had to deal with from photographs because I don't have that available to me. But the soft craw it's kind of a meld between two different crayfish: the common crayfish, which is found everywhere, that's why it's called the common craw, and the rusty craw. And these look completely different when they molt, and so that's pretty much why I did that color.
Do you think those fish are more likely to eat them when they're molting?
100%. Smallmouth,
because it's easier to digest.
I don't know if they give off a different odor or something, but when I was a kid, we used to fish Lake Erie all the time with my grandfather. And he used to make us go out and catch soft craws. That's what he called them, soft craws. And
so real quick, let me make sure I got this right. So when I was up in Minnesota this year, we caught crayfish at night, and you'd grab 10 of them, and they would be like crayfish. And then there'd be one, and you'd pick it up, and it would feel like a sponge. It wouldn't have a hard exoskeleton on it. Everything on it was rubbery and soft, but it was still alive, and it looked just like another crayfish. But you were like, holy cow, this thing it did not have a hard exoskeleton on it. That Correct. Is a molting crayfish.
Correct. It just molted.
Back to your story. I just wanted to make sure that's what I was doing.
Yeah. So he would make us snorkel around his cabin and catch as many soft craws as we could, and then we would go out and we would smallmouth fish with them. And the way the smallmouth ate the soft craws compared to the hard-shelled ones was unbelievable.
How would they even know that?
I don't know. That's
what you're saying. It has to give off some pheromone or something.
It has to, because there's no earthly way. Now, here's the thing with when they're molting, they're not going to be out in the open, which is another thing. They're going to hide because this is their most vulnerable stage of a crayfish. And so they're going to hide. So this is when the smallmouth will noticeably rooting in the rocks. Like literally rooting in the rocks for these things. So that's kind of when I was a kid, 12, 13 years old, that's when, I realized that there was a distinct difference between a soft crayfish and a hard-shelled crayfish. And it's not that they're two different kinds of crayfish. It's just their molting stage. And so, it's really cool. I mean, that's why I'm really particular with color, because I notice these things a lot. And so I feel that there's times when it just absolutely 100% makes a difference.
I didn't realize that the molting takes place. It's not like there's a molten season. It's like just every month they shed it.
Yeah.
So there's some that are always molting.
Yeah, I think it's predicated on a moon phase, if I'm not mistaken. I should have looked that up.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, good, because I didn't prepare for these questions.
Well, that's the beauty of the show. Is we just do it whenever we want.
But I think it's predicated on I know the first molt in the spring is predicated on water temperature, and then I think it's moon phase after that. So
Yes.
yeah,
This article says, and I quote, "Your mind is probably racing with questions about how often crayfish molt and exactly why they do it." That is literally in line in this.
okay. So my mind is racing.
I can't tell whether that's Mari published this on an aquarium website, so I don't know whether she was. If she was, I was well played. On average, it takes a young crayfish 11 times to molt in order to become mature. However, this number decreased 4 or 5 times by each time. Additionally, molting varies among species and can last anywhere from 15 to 25 days at a time. Under good conditions, crayfish usually molt every 15 to 25 days.
Perfect.
On larger ones, 30 to 40 days. Smaller ones, 7 to 10 days. And it usually takes crayfish 24 to 48 hours to molt completely, even though the process requires only 1 or 2 minutes to get rid of their old hard shell.
Perfect.
As they will molt throughout their lives. Interesting.
It's almost like losing teeth.
Yeah, it is. So they basically, like you see a snake shed its skin or anything, that's what the crayfish do.
Yeah, so that's kind of the whole theory behind that. I like it. Yeah.
And also, it also says a lot of times that's when they'll like start regrowing their. So like, there's a picture of like a guy with the little claws. I feel like they lose their claws and regrow them and stuff a lot during molting.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, if a crayfish loses a claw, I think it can regenerate a new one.
Yes, it can, but it starts to regenerate it after that molt.
Yeah, that's cool. And I'm going to be bothered by my cat now. Don't eat the computer.
We've been good for a while, and then now the last couple. Is this one? Which one is this?
This is Linny.
Lynx.
Yeah, Lynx. Come here. All right, come here. Come on.
Not Bama.
Oh, yeah, now it's not going to cooperate. Come here. This is Lynx. Look at she's pissed. Look how mad.
You need to do a lynx-colored crankbait.
He's so mad. Look at her tail, dude. She's got a tail like a freaking raccoon. Come here.
Holy cow. No, I would have thought that she'd had like a bobtail.
Oh, no. She's got a giant raccoon type tail. It's
Frank
a cool
Scalish, cat guy.
Yeah, well, my daughter got it for me, and I told her no. And this is the thing that annoys me. I said no. We're not getting another cat.
She just brought it over.
So her and my wife went out and just got it and brought it home. And they said, "Oh yeah, when Dad sees it, he won't get rid of it."
They were right.
And they're right. 100% right.
One of the things I wanted to talk about today, Frank, is we are approaching that time of the year where people are planning what they are going to do the following year. So like in 2026, we're actually planning a winter getaway. Not excursion. It's a work trip. It honestly is. What we have on the calendar with it between the bass and the crappie and what you're doing, hopefully it's a good weather window and you can come down. We'll be on the water for 5 days. We'll do 4 shows right there in the middle of January.
And hopefully we won't be cracking hundreds of yards of ice
like we were, but we still caught them. We still caught them.
100%.
Dude, you know what's crazy? You know that lake that we cracked ice on, and then we caught the white bass, and I caught the 5 or 6 that were a bunch. I've been back there twice this year under ideal conditions and have caught 0 bass in open water.
Do you think it's pressure?
I don't know, because I can catch them in the vegetation, but they're not floating or they're not on the structure or anything. It was weird. Like I thought that was going to be an absolute jammer of a lake.
Well, see, the vegetation offers you other cold water opportunities, but I know the lake because we were on it, and it will make it real tricky.
Yeah, it's a tricky lake, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess there has to be like a window to where you can access them when they're not in that vegetation, and then when they're not lethargic.
Well, the vegetation is good if it doesn't die back fast. I think the problem happened when I came down last time was it froze and that vegetation died, dude.
Okay, so I saw this. I'm curious, and I remember you telling a story one time. I think it was you. I'm not sure, but I saw a video of these guys who went fly fishing for cutthroat.
Ooh.
And they got to the river and it was frozen 3/4 of the way across it. This is not an AI deal. This was an actual video that I mean, it's like long, you can watch it. And as they're bringing their flies back, you know, they're getting it across. One of them drags it across the ice and it's really thin. And a cutthroat comes through the freaking ice and eats the damn thing.
Are you serious?
And it turned like they had like 8 or 9 eats on camera of them dragging their fly across this thin layer of slush ice and the fish breaking. Like, it's not like it's like an inch thick and they're torpedoing it. It's like, but it's frozen. And those fish are coming through the ice and eating the fly on top of the ice.
That's crazy. So like the coolest, one of the coolest things I ever did, not that we're turning this into a trout show, Trout Talk Live, TTL. Not that we're turning this into a trout show, but I was steelhead fishing in late January, and the same thing. There was so much ice everywhere and thick ice, and there was a set of rapids, and the ice wasn't formed around the rapids. It was on the outskirts where the current seam was, and you had the slow water meet the fast water. That's where the ice shelf was. And I had looked underneath there because I can partially see under the ice, and I see some steelhead sitting there right up underneath the ice, like right up against it. But this ice was like 3 inches thick. So you know what I did, dude? I found a log, a big, like, thick 3-inch round, big, like, log thing, and I pounded the ice and I broke it all out, and then I shoved it into the current and let it drift downstream. I waited 20 minutes and went through there and slaughtered them, dude.
So you don't think they were there for the ice? You think they're there for a current break?
Yeah, I think they were in the current seam, and the ice just offered them overhead protection.
But I started to say that I didn't think we caught them because they were too lethargic because we were breaking ice. But then I kind of wanted to change my tune and say I don't think bass get too lethargic to bite, especially after what we've seen with forward-facing sonar.
No, I don't either. The one thing I noticed, because I do a lot of wintertime fishing, the bass will not jump in the winter. They will not jump.
You think that's just an energy? It requires so much energy to jump that they just innately know that they
can't expel that kind of energy.
Yeah.
It's a very distinct possibility. I don't know why, other than we freeze, and I wonder if probably a dumb assumption on my part. If they
know they'll hit their head in the ice.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't understand it, but they will not jump. Like, they will not jump. And it's really fun to catch them then, because especially when you're jerkbait fishing, because you know they're not going to jump. You don't have to play around. You could just let them fight out the jerkbait, and they'll come up and they might roll a little bit, but they're not, doing what they do in the summer. I think part of it might be because of they're cold-blooded and they just don't expel the energy, like you said. And I think part of it is up north, they know if they jump when it's cold, they won't get out of the water.
You know what the deep dive needs? An ice app. Is the lake you're headed to frozen?
Oh my God, dude. That's what Google Earth is for. If you can get live.
Yeah.
Get live.
Oh
my gosh, dude. That's a great addition to that app.
It would be a very good addition. How much of the lake? I mean, I know that changes on a daily basis, and it's a pain in the butt on how they do it and what they do to be able to stay updated. But
yeah, they'd have to get like satellite permission.
It would be interesting if they could figure out, if you could just look and see, oh, the lake's not frozen, but the ramp is, or the ramp is, but the lake isn't.
Yeah, I felt bad breaking the ice in your boat, to be honest with you.
Why?
Because I knew it was going to sound horrific.
Oh, no, I was all for it. Like, that's one of those things. I feel like, and this will kind of lead into what I was talking about, taking fishing trips. I feel like when you take fishing trips with other people, I think we all have that where the guy goes, I got it, and you don't worry about it. Whether it's something with your car, whether it's a home improvement, whether it's yard, whatever it is, we all have that buddy who knows what he's doing, and you don't, and this is a learning opportunity for you. And that's kind of how I was with the breaking the ice with you. Like I knew that
Yeah.
you weren't going to be like, oh, that didn't go like I'd seen it. Sorry about your trailer, which is now toasted anyway because of the Mexico deal. But
yeah, it's true.
it was very educational the way you go in and out and in and out and then lower the unit, you lower the motor and run the motor and how you did it all. Like it was definitely, you could tell you'd done that way too many times and you clearly need to move south.
Yeah, oh, dude, trust me. I'll be honest with you. I got sick and tired of replacing trailer lights because I break them on the ice all the time. And then when I got my aluminum boat, what I did was I put quick disconnect plugs on my lights and wing nuts on the actual light itself. So I would undo the wing nut, unplug it, take the lights off, and ram that thing right down there. But you can't do that with a bass boat. You have to do it completely differently. Otherwise, you're spending hundreds of dollars every time you put the boat in the water, which is a waste.
Yeah. But when was the last time that you planned a fishing vacation?
Dude,
that's what I want to talk about in the second half of the show.
So I'm gonna be really honest with you. That was the last time I came down to see you.
That was a work trip. I'm talking a fishing vacation where here's where, so we both work full time in the industry, Frank, but all my buddies and stuff don't, and they all do trips. I do the Mexico thing.
Right.
Anything fishing is kind of work, but I'm talking about, I did that thing with Matt Steffen where we went, but we were doing the master angler thing, but it borderline it. I'm talking about like when I was a kid, my dad would plan a fishing vacation to Canada. Right. And all my buddies around here plan fishing trips. Like, hey, we're going to Lake Fork for 5 days. We're going up north for a week. The last one I planned would have been like a fishing vacation, would have been Alaska like 5-6 years ago, which doesn't count. But I was just curious on when the last time you planned were like when you go out to Norman, is that not a fishing vacation?
Yeah, that would be a fishing vacation for sure. The crazy thing is, okay, so the first thing I do is I go, okay, what species are we targeting?
Mm-hmm.
What's the most prevalent species? Like you could go to Norman and you could fish for largemouth, you could fish for spotted bass. You're not targeting smallmouth there, but you could fish for largemouth or spotted bass. And so that's part of it because you have to know how to gear for it. Okay. And then I go and I look at if I've been to the lake before. Now, clearly I've been to Norman a million times. So what I do is I pull out my records of that time of year. If I'm like, let's say I'm planning to go to Norman now and I'm going to go in February. I'll go through and I'll look at everything I've done from January through February on Norman and see what was going on. Was it A-rigs? Was it jerk baits? Was it shaky heads? Was it drop shots? What was the main thing going on? What was the weather like then? Because I remember one time Frankie and I went down there, and by all practical purposes, it should have been a slam fest. And we went down there to high winds and snow for a week. And the fishing was brutal at best. We caught them, and we caught them doing nothing like I normally catch them. So you got to plan that kind of thing out. Now, an unforeseen weather event is a surprise. So you can't plan for that. But you could get a pretty good idea of what tackle you need. I always check past weather patterns during that time I'm going there because I need to know what kind of clothes to pack.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing. Winter clothes, you got to know. Now, if you're going somewhere in the middle of summer, the only thing you got to worry about is rain gear. So that's kind of that. But But tackle wise, it's very important. Like I know that if I'm going to plan a trip up to the islands, for example, on Lake Erie, I'm not even going to worry about largemouth tackle because I'm not going up there to fish for largemouth. I'm going there specifically for smallmouth. So then I can take 80% of all the lures out of my boat and go up there, because the Great Lakes, I want my boat empty as much as possible. And I'm going to have, I got to put other things in that boat. Like I need my drift socks and stuff like that. I may never use the drift sock to fish with, but in an emergency situation, that drift sock could save your life. So those are going in the boat. The tackle that I bring is going to be predicated solely on what I'm fishing for, because I'm actually fishing for one species of fish, and my techniques get very narrow then. And so I don't have to, pack heavily for that. Now, if you're going to go to the Great Lakes, you do have to plan for wind days, because the Great Lakes aren't going to give you flat days all the time, or days you can get out.
Mm-hmm.
So I might at that point go, okay, I'm going to throw 3 largemouth rods in the boat. And then I'll bring some largemouth tackle and leave it in the truck in case we're going to have
blown
a
off
wind
and
day.
have
Right.
to go to a smaller lake.
Correct. And so that's kind of the strategy on planning. Like coming down to see you in January, I'm going to bring very limited amounts of tackle because I kind of know what we're up against. And so we're not going to have this broad range,
Mm-hmm. I just feel like I feel like one of the things that I haven't had lately is that like Canada trip feel, right? Like where you're getting ready, like you're buying a couple of those Frank Scalish signature series crankbaits because you can picture chucking them on a boundary water lake for smallmouth at early in the morning like that.
Oh, it's so fascinating.
I think as an angler, regardless of how much if you listen to this show, you fish, right?
Oh yeah.
I think it's paramount that once a year, even if it's just for a day or two, you do something
different,
fishing related on the water that you've never done before.
I 100% agree with that.
And you spend time planning it, researching it, and doing it.
I 100% agree with that. Because it brings back the adventure again.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a kid, when you're a kid, you have that excitement of this thing that never happened before, and you have all these images conjured up in your head of how it's like. I remember the first time I went to Canada, all I thought about was northern pike. Oh my God, teeth everywhere. They're like barracuda. I want to catch a northern pike. Of course now I hate them, but
smoking him over the head with a bump board.
No, I don't destroy animals for no reason. But I mean, it's like, it's exciting. Like that's why I musky fish.
Yeah.
Because I don't do it all the time. And I can't wait to just be
well, that's what the yellow perch thing that I just did with Matt Steffen was.
Yeah.
I mean, we were out in the middle of Green Bay laughing our asses off going, can you believe this? And then we're like, we got to do it again tomorrow. But it was that moment where we knew what we wanted to catch. We had done the research. We had spent the time, but there was the unknown factor.
And
like,
that was
we don't really know. Like Matt had gotten like, hey, they're in this, what ended up being a 7-mile quadrant. So he's like, hey, my buddy said they're over yonder. Well, yonder was the damn horizon line.
Yeah, right.
In either direction.
Right, exactly. He narrowed it right down.
Somewhere in there.
Right, he narrowed it down.
But it's that freaking moment of the excitement where you're literally like, are we going to do it? Was this a total waste? Is it not going to happen? Oh, there's a little bit of hope. No, that was a white perch. And then that first bar comes up in the water and it's a freaking yellow perch. It's like that. There's 50 more down there. And we were like, oh my God, we figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like you benefit from all the day 4 shows when you're back in the bass fishing thing, when you're tweaking, when you're learning, when you're exploring. If you get out of your comfort zone, if you plan that trip and fall back in love with fishing once a year.
Oh, you have to. I do it a lot. I mean, I do that a lot. I don't go away to fish as much as I used to, but like I chase oddball species for that reason alone. And it's like it's like last year when I came down, you go, well, we could go catch largemouth or we could crappie fish. And I'm like, oh, we're crappie fishing.
But this year I feel like you're going to want to do some largemouth because you've got 3 years of crappie under your belt.
100%.
And you haven't caught a 11 pounder out of a piece of timber before.
No, that's happening this year. That is absolutely happening this year, bar none. But it's even like, it's even bass fishing, for example. Like if you get to a place where, let's say you live on a lake where it's not a grassy lake, it's more of a structure lake, and you get on YouTube and you watch the bass events on the Mississippi River, and guys are just plastering them on frogs, and you just don't have that opportunity where you live. Okay. Or if you do, the window is this big.
Yeah.
Go do it. I mean, it's like,
your one trip doesn't have to be, it could be catching 75 2 to 3 pounders on a frog in 3 days on the Mississippi River.
100%. I have a buddy of mine. The guy's a super close friend of mine, and he fishes the Mississippi all the time. And when I was fishing Bassmasters, I was in between events, traveling from one to another, and I had to go up to his neck of the woods. And he's like, dude, the frog bite is on up here. Can you fish for 2 or 3 days? I'm like, yeah, I can. I'll meet you up there. And we went up there, and I'll be honest with you, I've caught bass on frogs before, but I've never had a frog day. And when I say a frog day, I mean you got one rod in your hand, it ain't never coming out, and you're gonna wreck them. And I went up there, and I had a bruise on my rib cage the size of a softball because I'd put the rod here and I'd be, and we were catching so many 3 to 4 pounds largemouth. It was ludicrous. And it was a blast.
Well, that's what Jeffries did when he went on vacation up to Maine with Carolyn. He said about that. One of the dudes who listens to the show from Maine, him and his kid took him out, and he blistered him on frog in the lily pads. He didn't catch a personal best. It wasn't the most he'd ever caught in a day. It wasn't the biggest he'd ever caught in a day. But when it came down to it, he said it was one of the best days he's ever had on the water.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's something, if you don't have the opportunity to experience a certain bite where you live, to chase the bite is fabulous. You know what I mean? It's fabulous. So yeah, I'm all in for that stuff.
And here's the other thing. It doesn't have to be an exotic lodge. It doesn't have to be tens of thousands of dollars. I promise, regardless of where you are listening to this, there is an opportunity to catch species that you have not targeted that there's a cool way to catch. I mean, it could be like a red-nosed horse sucker or whatever it is, but there's some way to catch them on a river near you or something like that.
Right.
Like there's cool little things that are right under your nose.
Oh yeah, without it.
Like my next foray is bluegill in Oklahoma.
Oh, sweet.
That's the next frontier, that I have not tapped. I love bluegill fishing. I love red ear fishing. I mean, I grew up doing it in the ponds. Even when I was in college, I would find the subdivision ponds that had red ear stocked in them and wait till they'd spawn and sneak around until I had some bad snake encounters, and I was done with that. And then occasionally, like how many times have you been going around the docks and you'll see like nice fat bluegill suspended underneath the docks in the summertime, and it crosses your mind, man, I should come back and, throw a micro jig or some crawlers or something like that would be fun. Then you never do it and you never come back and do it. Like my next thing is I want to figure out how to catch bluegill in Oklahoma, and that just as much, doesn't require anything additional.
No, gosh, no. Dude, Troy and I went down, we fished a tournament on Kentucky Lake when we were kids. I say we were kids, but we were adults, but young adults, like 18 years old, 19 years old. We went down there and we were fishing an event, and we got there kind of late, and I think we stayed at Buchanan Resort. And we went down to the dock. As soon as we got there, we were like nut jobs. Got to go to the water. It's pitch black out. We got to go see the docks. And we get there, throw our stuff in the cabin, and we run right down to the docks. And some of the docks had lights on them. And we're looking there, and there's these giant gars underneath the lights. And I go, dude, we got to catch them. We ran back to the boat, grabbed a couple rods apiece, and we freaking gar fished until like 3 a.m. And literally, we like gar fished all night long, slept for an hour and a half, and then went bass fishing the next.
Oh, that's epic.
Yeah, it was
dude, I did that on Sam Rayburn. I'm out over 100 foot of water, and you realize that all these giant balls suspended in the tops of this timber are alligator gar.
Oh,
and I'm like, I'm practicing for an open that I finished 100th in that ended up being one day. But by God, I hooked the 3 biggest gar that I've ever hooked in my life, and I knew they were gar when I did it. But like, I don't know, I'm just a freak for that stuff where you're like, oh my God, these gar will eat a minnow.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you like put it in it and you watch them and then you hook them and the thing is 6.5 foot long, tail walking in 50-degree water, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable, man. I was on Murray fishing an elite event on Lake Murray.
Mm-hmm.
And this was actually during the event. And the fish came up busting by me. And I'm throwing a super spook. And I launch it out there. And I'm, boom, big fish, boom. I lean in on them. It comes off. Giant stripers. It comes off. I fire back out there. Boom, boom. I get another one. It comes off. About my 3rd cast, I looked at the bait. I had no hooks on it.
It ripped them off with
the first fish ripped off the hook. So I dive down in the bottom of the boat. I put new split rings on, put new hooks on, jump back up there. Bam, bam. I start wailing on these things. Alton Jones sees me. He comes over to me and he's like, hey, Frank. I'm like, dude, this is a ball. He goes, those don't count. I'm like, yeah, but I can't leave them. I can't leave them. You know what I mean? I gotta catch them. So yeah, it's gosh, that's what
they're doing that with the flatheads out there too. The guys have figured out that they can put baits, like real heavy drop shots and stuff, like 30 foot down on logs that have flatheads on them. And scope the flatheads where they're watching those big giant freak shows out in the forest and timber fields, and they're dropping the freaking big gizzards and stuff on them and watching those flatheads just
oh my God, dude, I think that's gonna be an adventure.
Yeah, like I almost, like, I've seen, I can't remember who it is, they're doing it at Rayburn. I have not like just booked a guide trip ever in my life.
Yeah,
I would book a guide trip for that.
Yeah.
And what like Kyle Austin's doing out there at Santee with those big giant blues and channels and stuff like that. Like, you're in a covered deal, you go out and you're just fighting 30-pound catfish all day.
Yeah.
Like, how is that not fun?
We caught blues on Kentucky Lake on 40. We found them, me and Troy again.
Oh, that's what we need to do. We need to go try that. Like I mentioned a couple of weeks, we need to, that Grand Lake, if the blues are going, we could minnow 115-pound blue cats on a minute, like,
oh yeah, dude,
40-degree water.
I found them on 2D sonar. Me and Troy, of course. Everything's me and Troy. So I found them on 2D sonar on this 45.
This Troy who did that picture.
Yes,
and that picture,
of course,
that same Troy,
that same one. And
what a guy.
And so we got them on these 45-degree banks, and I found them on 2D sonar, and they were deep enough where you could literally get on top of them and drop straight down on them. And we were dropping jigs down on them and smoking these giant blue cats. And here again, we're
like a slab spoon, like a Hopkins spoon.
No, like a jig.
Like a jig or a jigging spoon?
No, like a jig.
Oh, Okay.
like a jig, drop a jig
Yeah.
down on them
I thought you were,
and
yeah.
catch them. We've caught them on spoons too,
Yeah,
but
they eat a spoon out on
they
Grand
crush a
big
spoon,
time.
dude. And it was so much fun. I mean, it was so much fun. And you know, I mean, sometimes I think we get carried away with the competition and we get
Mhm.
carried away with the
Oh, I
trophy
was
and
out with Jody White up in New York, and we spent a day on Lake George, which is insane. And I probably spent 3.5 hours trying to get a damn lake trout to eat a minnow.
oh yeah, dude.
Like he was like, "Hey, you want to see something cool?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, they're 80 foot down, 70, 60 foot. If you get it down there and you've got these freaking things going all over and you're shaking your minnow and you're trying to get him to bite it and you get one and not." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in on this till I catch one." I never ended up catching one, but
Yeah, I haven't caught a laker yet either, but in my defense, I've never fished for one. But I have a lake that's
you've
six.
never caught a lake trout, like never on the Great Lakes or anything like that?
No, I've never fished for them. But I
Really?
but I have a place that I can scope them. And I have a buddy of mine who I talked to, and I said, you need to look in this area of the lake. And he went there and did some research and investigation. And he called me and he said, dude, lake trout use standing timber.
Really?
Yeah, and he was smashing them on a 3 inch and a 4 inch Yums forward facing sonar minnow. And I'm like, I am all in. I am all in on that. And he mashed them, and they were only 20 to 30 feet down.
I'm trying to find this. I went out. Was that the same trip? It had to be the same trip last year. I went out with Travis on Ontario for those things, the lake trout,
Yeah,
and we caught like 20 and 30 pounders.
holy smokes, dude.
Yeah, like I mean, like big, gigantic. Oh, I think I've got it on my Instagram. Big, gigantic suckers. I
See,
need to show you.
man,
And
I'll
it was
tell,
fun, like downriggers, everything, and then some. I mean, it was friggin' cool.
I'll tell you something else too. I've always wanted to catch a lake run brown, and I never had to. Oh yeah, dude, 100%. Oh my gosh, very cool.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: did you eat them?
Travis kept them.
Yeah, because I was just curious if you smoked them or
I would have, but I was. I
traveling.
mean, I didn't really. Yeah, I didn't really have any way to at the time.
Yeah, so I wanted to go out. Remember those big hybrids I was on a month ago?
Yeah.
I wanted to go out and catch two of them and bring them home, and I wanted to do one on the half shell, and then I wanted to smoke one and see. But I never got back out to do it, which is a bummer.
Yeah, my buddy Darren, who was there too, who we weren't really expecting to do this either, right? Like he was just like, "Hey, you want to?" He was trying to catch the salmon. Like, look at this one that my buddy Darren caught. Like I said, like talk about like we didn't even go up there to try it. New species.
Oh yeah, man.
I mean, that thing was a monster.
They're so cool, dude.
They're pretty interesting.
So let me ask you a dumb question. So did you let any of them go?
Yeah, the ones that looked like they would survive, we let go.
So they won't. So you're yanking them up from that deep. They're not going to survive.
Yeah, there were some that we were catching shallower to where they were like coming up and hitting a bait.
Yeah.
And then the
Okay.
ones that were like down, like they were kind of spiraling by the time we brought them in.
Yeah. So okay. So that was my curiosity on lake trout was if they're
Yeah, I think it is totally dependent on how
yeah
you catch
just
them or not.
yeah just want I'm like curious because I don't want to go out to have fun and catch 30 of them and kill them all. But if I
No, I'd be interested in smoking one or two though. Like I've heard that could be like a lake trout dip.
dude
Some people love it. Some people say it's a little gamey.
my buddy makes steelhead dip.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, it's like a pate, and it is fabulous.
That I had Zeke come over and we were working on Crappie Talk Live, and I said, "Hey, you want some Green Bay
Crop.
yellow perch?"
Oh yeah, dude.
And he's like, "Yeah." And oh my gosh, we will have someone near here. Oh, and I'll have the salmon. My buddy Owen's coming down. I'll have it now because for the wedding,
Perfect.
he's bringing down a box that we caught of reds.
Nice, dude.
So all right, what
So what's on your bucket list fish wise?
on my bucket list?
Yeah, like I don't need 100 of them. Like
Wells catfish, topwater Wells catfish.
you got to use a pigeon, dude. They eat pigeons.
They eat big giant whopper ploppers too.
Did you ever see them eat a pigeon?
I've not, but I've seen them eat whopper ploppers.
Okay, so go online and look up, and I don't know if it's in England or not. Just look up Wells catfish eating birds or eating pigeons. It's a great. If it's the video that I saw, you'll laugh your ass off, dude. These cats literally lay in wait, and the pigeon goes down to get a drink of water, and they literally suck them off the bank. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's got to be the same thing.
Yeah, it's that. Watch this thing just will suck it right off the bank. See ya.
Whoa. Yeah. So I need that in my life.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm 100% in for that too, because
so
that's
this is also way off the beaten path. I watch this more than I watch bass fishing now. I'm going to get hardcore judged. That's fine. I judge myself for it. I don't know what my fascination is with it. But the European carp fishing.
Yeah, it's cool.
With the boilies and the way they do the mirrors and the commons and the linears and the way they have their swims and their fisheries over there. Like, I just watched a documentary last night when I couldn't sleep. It literally was a documentary about this guy who was going to one fishery to catch a carp that had been caught 3 or 4 more times before, but it was a fully scaled 60-pound mirror. And they, as far as they knew, it was the biggest fully scaled mirror in the country.
No kidding.
One of those over there.
So
but someone had caught it the month before. Someone had caught it the year before that. These places that they go, they have like books where they have, here's what it is, here's the picture of it.
Yeah.
So they had this fishery was at, it's not giant. It's maybe 500-600 yards across big. So they kind of have an idea of like what's in there. So they have like 15 or 20 carp that have names. They know how big they are, when they've been caught, what swim they've been caught out of, what the moon phase was where they caught them. And then they go back and they literally they're like, oh, this is Miss Piggy or whatever, that was the name of one, or this is Jimbo. He's been caught 7 times before. So it's like
Jimbo's an idiot.
Yeah. But they're also like really smart too. So like he spent 21 days chasing this one carp in a fishery that he believed that the owner and everything said had about 250 fish in it. But the thing had been caught. So every time it gets caught, it like changes its surroundings. It changes how wary it is. Every time he lost one over the 21 days, was he like, did I just stick that fish? It had been caught 2 weeks before he had been there. So it's like, it's a weird deal. It would be like going to Lake Fork to catch a bass, like that, is that like to catch a bass, a specific bass.
Yeah.
It's a totally different mindset.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's almost like trophy deer hunting.
Yeah. So a big, and if there's anyone who can hook me up on this in the United States, I have never caught a mirror carp. And the only carp fishing I've done is like cicadas, night crawlers when I was a kid. Like, I've never targeted them, but I would love to go catch like a 30, 20, even a 15-pound, a mirror carp is on my bucket list, no doubt.
Okay, so I've carp fished before on purpose. I've caught grass carp, giant grass
Yeah.
carp, buffalo,
Yep.
Regular carp. And what I found out, there was a hot water discharge where I lived, and I went to the hot water discharge on Lake Erie, and I found out that you could catch them on lures like, grubs, crankbaits, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went out there and I made a mixture of anise oil, blackberry oil, and mineral oil, and it was real sweet and smelled like blackberry and anise. And I would squirt it on the grubs, and I would throw the grubs up against the wall.
Blackberry and what?
Anise.
Okay.
Easy, Tiger. We don't want to get canceled. And so I would, just like if you were fishing in a river system, I'm bouncing it down the current from the discharge, and the corrugated wall, it was corrugated iron wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would let this thing bounce in between the corrugations, and then all of a sudden, boom, and you'd set up on them, and these carp would be as long as your legs, and you would battle. It would be a battle. And it was so much fun, and I used to do it all the time.
I'm gonna play a little audio. So just like Polinick and stuff does like his Elite Series videos, this is fishing with Carl. So Carl's like, I don't really know his backstory. He's a very eclectic individual from over in England. This is what he does.
Welcome to my quest for a 50-pound carp. A journey spanning 10 years, documenting my angling on a unique and challenging lake, searching for one giant fish.
That's got to be it. That's got to be it, surely. Oh my God.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it literally is like hard. I mean, that's a carp. So it's hard to, but I mean, it's really, really unique. Like that was, there's like a whole 10-year backstory around one fish. Like he caught one fish 10 years ago.
Yeah. See that, to me, that's crazy. The waters that he's fishing in, they cannot be gigantic bodies of water.
No, they're not at all.
They can't be, because I mean, I can get one. Well, I don't know if it'd be truly 50. I know I've caught 30 pounders out of there, but there's a place that I can go and we could consistently catch between 15 and 30 pounders. And that's a 30-pound carp is huge.
But I don't know like how to do like the boilies and the rigs and all that. So I've been watching a lot of like the underwater stuff and how they set up, because it all has to be. And it's a little different because a lot of these are like fish. These aren't like wild. I mean, they are wild, but they're used to swims and spreads.
Yeah, they're so heavily fished.
But I mean, they've got, he comes to the U.S. and he's done it. I mean, there's a carping society like in the United States and things like that. But on my bucket list, definitely a mirror carp. I mean, you've seen what a mirror looks like, right?
Oh yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah. Have you ever caught one?
No.
I would love to just catch.
But here, show the audience that are watching.
I would love to catch like a freak show mirror carp.
Yeah, the weird thing is like their patterns are all different, like fingerprints, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of their scale loss and everything.
Yeah, they're all different. Let me see. Here, I'll show you this one. Hold on, I gotta wait for the ad to get done.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get to one, because you have to see it like in person.
They had one. They had two actually in the clip you played.
Here
earlier.
it is.
Like wings? It's like it's going to take off and fly. Now, I know I'm not a wise old man just yet,
Also,
But
like the
I
way
think
they
the
talk.
older I am getting, the more I'm realizing how important it is to slow down every once.
Like literally, like these guys are, I mean, die-hard carpers. I've watched hundreds of hours of this stuff. There's like Tackle Guru, there's a Carl deal, then a couple spin-offs of that. There's guys who do carp in competitions with each other. They fish the canals. There's like different European countries that have bigger carp than others.
How in the hell did we get here?
We're just talking about expanding your horizons. But like, you know how you'll go into a 30-minute freaking diatribe on, like we did at the beginning, on different hues and colors, and you've done hook size and bait, like all that. Like they'll do that with a boilie and a hook, and you're like, you're like, how about Wonder Bread on a treble hook? You ever thought of that?
Exactly.
And that's, that,
how about anise oil and a white grub, bro?
To them, that would be the equivalent of them being like, what about this pre-rigged worm under a bobber?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you might catch one in a pond on it, but like,
yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah.
What about you? What's on your? I mean, it's not the lake trout, is it? You got to have another.
No, it's not.
Fish.
It's not. It is a laker, but it's not a laker. I want to get a big, ugly, kiped out male lake run brown.
That's happening right now.
Yeah, but I want to. I want it on my fly rod. Not conventional tackle. That's a big bucket list fish for me.
The jumbo perch was for me. I knocked that out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, dude.
Like that was literally that was number 1A in the bucket. Just a slugfest jumbo mag perch, and we knocked it out.
And here, see, look. So I've been catching those my whole life because it's literally 9 miles from my.
So where do you have to? What would you have to do to make that brown happen?
I just got to hop in my car and drive about 3.5 hours.
Come on, Frank.
Yeah, I know, but Matt, it's not. It's there's always. It's like we're talking about planning a fishing trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never set out to plan to go do it. I've just not done it because bass fishing gets in the way a lot from that. Because I'm like, man, this is going on. I want to go catch these bass. This is going on. I have to set aside. Now, when I steelhead fished a lot, I wanted pink salmon because every 3 years or every 3 or 4 years, the pink run in this one river. But Bassmasters always was going on when the run would happen. So I never hit it right. And the years that we didn't have a tournament scheduled there, it was the off years. You know what I mean? It was the off years. So I never got a pink. I remember one year I was talking to a buddy of mine. He worked at the rod maker shop and he calls me up. He goes, dude, the pinks are in. And he calls everybody. He called me Pete is what he called me. He goes, Pete, the pinks are in. Let's go. And I go, dude, I'm in Florida for a Bassmaster event. Can't make it. And I missed it. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it's been going for that. Anyway.
Yeah, and I had so I knocked 2 off this year. I caught 2 muskie in one day at Leech.
All right.
Leech Lake spotted muskies over 40 inches long. I mean, genuine, legit, big muskie. Didn't know what the rule was on whether you could take them out, whether you couldn't. I have weird pictures with them because I wanted to make sure I know the muskie guys are nuts about it. So I was very respectful of how I held, landed, did all that crap. And then the yellow perch. I really would like to do a giant walleye trip. I've done it. I've targeted them. I have not ever gone out with just the intent of catching just freak show giant walleye.
Come here in the winter.
I know.
They catch them off the shore, dude.
Really?
Yeah, throwing like perfect 10s, jerking them off the shoreline in the winter.
Oh, that's sick.
I'm
big slobs.
Big slobs, like 10 to 14 pounders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else is on your list?
Oh boy. I'll keep it to freshwater.
Yeah.
I definitely want a giant flathead, but I mean a giant because I catch flatheads bass fishing all the time. I want a giant.
You want to like set up on a river on a snag with a chunk of buffalo.
I
and
want a
your
giant flathead.
Abu Garcia reel like that goes like that. And I mean, it's just, yeah.
And then of course alligator gar, a big alligator gar. I've caught alligator gar before.
Like we might be able to make that happen while you're here.
Let's figure it out. Let's see. It doesn't have to be a thing. We got other quests.
Yeah.
Like to go in there and crack double-digit largemouth is kind of a.
We're a little, we're going double-digit largemouth and a 4-pound crappie. So yeah, we might want to stick to that.
Yeah, we can't because if we split it up too much.
Yeah, 4-pound crappie is ridiculous that's realistic, but it is.
We got some tanks the other day, man. Like some deuces.
Yeah, now double that.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
It'll look like that damn carp.
I can't even imagine.
All right, we're gonna wrap things up today. Do not forget the drop right now happening.
Yes. Soft
November
craw.
6th, soft craw on lurenet.com. Use
BTL, capital BTL
25.
15%
off regularly priced items. Which
you know what? This is gonna blow.
Is it a regular or regularly?
What?
Would you say 15% off regular priced items like I have in the scrolling bin, or would you say 15% off regularly priced items?
Regular, either or. I'm not an English major, and so I don't know. I would say regular or regularly. I would go either way. I'm not going to worry about it. They know what they got to do. But you know what? We're going to be gone when this thing drops.
Yeah.
I got to figure this out.
Figure what out?
I have to buy a dozen of these.
You're not going to be gone?
No, you will be gone. I won't be gone.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, money.
I don't know what you got to figure out.
I don't have to figure nothing out now.
I'll tell you what. I was on the water when I was on the water in a torrential downpour when the Hall of Fame lures dropped. And I was under the driver's seat console of my boat with my phone, had my credit card out, and I mean, I'm swiping the screen, and I'm like, oh, they're going to be sold out. They're going to be sold out. They're going to be sold out. I had my alarm set and everything. And I mean, the fact that my phone still works is a miracle because I did it in a Noah's Ark flood. Ordered them to make sure that I got Red Clun and the Roland Martin Peacock Bass.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool actually. When Clun signed that thing, and thanks for waiting for me to get to you guys too. By the way. Because you could have had him sign it before I even got to you, because by the time I got to you, it had been 20-some minutes after. You said I'm going to get Rick to sign it.
Yeah, well, no, I needed to get the picture for that. I noticed we have a soundboard. I didn't even know we had a soundboard.
See, there's too much fun that's going to start happening.
No, I've never been a fan of this. I've never been a fan of the soundboard. Although when you're telling a story and it starts getting good, I think I could start throwing that in. Like talk about that fish that you got caught in the brush pile on Eufaula when the water came up and you couldn't see it. When you're flipping that.
It was actually so the brush pile was underwater and the only thing sticking out was one little twig. And I pitched in there, and when the thing went down, the fish got it, boom, and I set the hook on. We have
talk about when it got caught in the brush pile, Frank.
I'm not talking.
Did that fish get caught in the brush pile?
It got caught in the brush pile. It came out, and I thought it was a giant bowfin. I'm done, Matt. I'm done with this, Matt.
All right, this has been another edition of Day 4 with the man Frank Scalish. We'll talk to everyone later. See ya.